How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Ishake Adventures. I'm sorry for not having a video out last week. My girlfriend actually just graduated becoming an instructor, so I was spending last week just helping her study up for those courses and celebrating her as well. But this video, we are going to be focusing on, in recognition of the new Dune movie, what lies in the sand. It is a very underrated part of the ocean. I love going over sand patches, and I'm going to just show you how much life is actually down there. So without further ado, I'm going to start us off with a little scavenger hunt. There are actually two fish in this picture right here, so I'm going to give you a couple seconds to try and look for them. One of the main things that I love about sand patches is that it provides excellent and amazing camouflage for pretty much all of its creatures. That's kind of one of its main benefits of the creatures living in sand patches. And a lot of people think that, you know, big sand patches or even just big sand fields are really barren. This video is also going to tell you how much of a mistake that actually is. Camouflage can help tiny creatures such as those little guys all the way up to even bigger creatures such as this Cool's stingray. Now, stingrays, they love sand patches. It's where I find them the most, actually. And they will use sand patches in order to sleep. So they'll bury themselves, again, using that camouflage to cover them up. Mainly, I find stingrays with just their tail sticking out. That's how I kind of see them. And then they have like a very faint silhouette. But it is very good camouflage, and you most likely will not be able to see them right away. It takes definitely a trained eye. But another reason is because they also give birth to live young. So these babies can just chill right in the sand. They can go and hide down there, and it is perfect camouflage for them away from bigger predators. Speaking of juveniles, this is a juvenile razorfish, or Instas pavo. Now, this was a very rare sighting because I actually thought it was just a piece of algae floating around on the sand patch, but then I realized it was a little bit different. Went up, got a closer shot of it, and saw that it was actually a tiny little fish. Now, it is translucent, and this is actually a trait common in a lot of juvenile fish called leptocephaly, and it makes them very hard to see and almost invisible in most instances to keep them away from predators. And again, having them on a sand patch, it makes them near invisible. Now, sorry for the shaky video, but later on I did find a full-grown adult razorfish, and yeah, he was just dodging me, bobbing and weaving, using the vast sand field to his advantage, and eventually actually just zipped down straight into the sand, which is an amazing defense mechanism, or escape artist, as you could say, to use a great big sand patch pretty much anywhere he could use to get away from a big predator. So very, very cool adaptation, and so glad I got just the last bit of that on camera as well. But another not so tiny animal that I found in the sand patch is this yellow margin triggerfish, or Pseudoballistes flavimerginatus. Sorry about that. But this guy was not really living here. You're not going to see a lot of triggerfish like living in a sand patch. And I say living there because most triggerfish will actually build nests. I believe that this triggerfish was either looking for a little snack, such as like mollusks, so like a little clam or crab of some sort, or it was looking for coral debris to build in its nest. Now, some triggerfish can be very territorial, and they will build nests, and they will defend that. I think I've told you guys in the past about how one of my students was actually nipped by a triggerfish. Very funny story, actually. He came up laughing, no harm done whatsoever. He just got a little too close. But do not be afraid of triggerfish. That is not what I'm trying to teach at all. But before I get into this next creature, guys, go ahead and down in the description down below and follow all of our Instagrams and socials. Patos Pescados in particular got a snidbit, a little preview of this next creature. So if you have liked or seen that post, then you already know this next one that is coming. But this is Alicia marignata. This sea slug actually goes through a process called autotomy, and It was founded by some scientists from the Nara Women's University in Japan, and they found out that they just left this little sea slug in a petri dish, and they came back a little bit later, and the head was actually detached from the rest of the body. And then they saw that the head was actually still wiggling around and actually looking around for a snack. So kind of like what geckos do with their tails, or some lizards do with their tails. The only difference is we're not entirely sure why the sea slugs go through this. The reptile side of the autonomy division mainly do it if they're scared of some other types of predators. So I'm not entirely sure why they do this, but it is freaking awesome, and I could not believe it when I researched this actually for myself, and I actually needed to go find a video on it for myself. So please go check out the Nara Women's University in Japan. They have a whole website and article about it. It is such an interesting read, so please go check that out as well. But yeah, these guys are all over the sand as well. They blend in very, very well. And then last but not least, probably the reason that you clicked on this video, because it's, you know, the only reason that most people watch the videos, a white tip reef shark. So not to be confused with the oceanic white tip shark. The oceanic white tip is bigger and bulkier, to whereas the white tip reef shark is a lot slimmer and a lot smaller, and they're going to mainly swim around reefs and feed off of those type of fish, whereas the oceanic will swim in the open blue. And you may have heard that white tip reef sharks, or basically pretty much all sharks, need to be swimming around in order to breathe. You know, that's why not a lot of aquariums have sharks, because it's just simply almost near impossible to keep them, and it's not humane. But you might have seen an aquarium of some sort hold white tips. That is because they do something called buccal breathing. This is where they can actually pump their own water through their gills, and this lets them just chill on the sand or anywhere they want to rest. And yeah, they could basically just chill on the sand and get a nap in. They don't have to be swimming in an ocean current or anything like that, which is very, very nice. If I was a shark, I would definitely like to be a white tip for sure. Just some other cool little facts about them. They are nocturnal hunters, so go check out my night dive video, night dive with sharks. That's probably one of the most viewed dive videos I have out there. So yeah, go give that a look. You could definitely see them in their hunting state, definitely swimming around. This guy was literally just trying to get a nap, and if you have a fear of sharks, I think this is all the proof that you need to not be afraid of them anymore, just because this white tip alone was more concerned with getting a nap than having anything to do with me at all. In fact, he wanted to get away from me so he could just continue napping. So if you're not convinced by now and you're still scared of sharks, I'm sorry, I do not know what else I can do, unless you want me to train you in how to scuba dive, and then I could just literally put you in front of a shark. That I am also totally fine with as well. But that is pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking through to the end. Since you have, I'm going to give you a little snippet on future videos. I have maybe 1 or 2 more coming out with Australian footage. Then I'll move on to some of the Utila footage that I've got. And one of my upcoming trips is I'm going to Baja California down in Mexico. And let me just say, I'm so hyped for that trip, and stay tuned because, alright, I'll give you a little snippet. Sharks galore are incoming, alright? So please stay tuned for those videos. I am so excited to go there and get footage for you guys as well. But that's pretty much all I'm going to say. Please like and subscribe if you guys are liking this content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.